we're all part of a wider food system. There are retailers, there are brands, there are processors, there are input manufacturers, there are farmers as well. And I feel for the farming community because ultimately they are responding to the very powerful signal sent from either the subsidy system, big government, or the signal sent by big retailers and big brands and their buying practices as well. So, Joe, if I can just start with you, have you started to bring this very different approach to farming into your value chain? Because you've got people above you and you've got people behind you. What are the conversations you're having? What are the barriers you're having to overcome with them to drive this in your business?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I suppose we're at Summerdown coming from an interesting perspective in that we've been Fair to Nature Farm for over a decade now, and longer than that. And we've been on a journey as a farm for many years. Our master of mint, our farm manager Ian Margaret, has been a phenomenal advocate for nature-friendly farming, for doing things in a way that provides for people and the environment in equal measure. And so I suppose I'm able to come and advocate from a position that we've been doing it for a while, and it works because our outlook on what success looks like isn't dictated necessarily by just expansion at all cost. And so the barriers that we see are the fact that, one, we live in a society where it is, as you say, big business or the state that is determining and setting the agenda. And that can make it very hard for small farmers, for small businesses, for startups to advocate and operate for change when it can be dominated by these large players. And so I think fundamentally, what's the one thing we can really do to help start to affect change in a way that isn't dominated by the big players is to reconnect back into the natural environment. We exist in a society which is quite detached from our environment around us and the ecology and the nature around us, which makes it very hard when you're trying to make business decisions, particularly as a small business. At Summerdown, we're a small business. There are always more important, more pressing, more timely matters at hand. And if you're not rooted in, connected to the natural environment around you, it becomes almost impossible then to bring nature in to that decision making, to think about biodiversity loss, to think about the natural environment in what sales or marketing decision you're about to make. As a farm-based business, we are, in my mind, very blessed in the fact that we can't move. We can't diversify away from what our core operating is, which is growing award-winning peppermint, putting it into an amazing range of products, and able to delight our audience with great tasting products, but grown in a way that sees the environment come alive.
Yeah, I'm going to come to Andy in a second, but it just makes me reflect listening to you that a lot of the work that I did at Marks and Spencer for 20 years there leading sustainability was to use better ingredients as part of the quality proposition. This can't be quality product if it's exploited the planet to get to you, however good it might taste. That is just not quality in the 21st century. So it's really interesting to say you differentiate your products around nature as a quality, part of the quality experience for your customer as well. And Andy, I'm just going to pop back to you because you too got a direct-to-consumer business model, which I think I'd just like to understand a little bit more how you're using nature to drive the growth of that business. But then after that, I'm going to give you permission to be in charge of the UK food system for 60 seconds. I'm sure it'd be better if you were in charge of it permanently, but 60 seconds. What would you be saying to the big retailers and the government DEFRA food subsidy system now to drive the food that we need at the price point that people are willing to pay, but also put environment much more at the heart of what we do? But tell us about the D2C model you've got at the moment.
We do meat boxes, and to sell meat boxes, you have to tell a story, and it's a niche, and the nature story is the story that most people want to hear. So that connection between them buying from somebody who they see and believe and is has that credibility is what they want. I mean, when it comes to scaling it, obviously what we're doing is very small scale. So if you want widespread adoption, the joy with these certifications is that the story's told by a trusted NGO, and that story can be done for many farmers using case studies chosen from amongst us. But it allows a wide scale farm adoption across multiple farms in a much more efficient way. Most farmers aren't very good at telling stories, to be honest. Most farmers just want to produce stuff. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, and that's, to me, is the great integrity and honesty of farming. People just want to farm, and they want to farm well.